Shalom, Israel, Most High in Christ blessed. Can everybody hear me clearly? All right, all praises. All right, we're about to send up the prayers. Brothers, uncover your heads. Sisters, cover your heads. All right. According to 1 Corinthians, the 11th chapter, we're about to send up prayers. So sisters, make sure your heads are covered. Brothers, make sure your heads are uncovered. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For yours is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. All right, shalom, Israel, Most High in Christ bless. Officer Matthew out of New Orleans. And today, the topic of daily bread, I haven't taught in a while. Topic of daily bread is your trial isn't yours, isn't just yours. I talk about this all the time with the brothers down here, because trials is something that's going to hit us a lot. All right, we're going to hit trials a lot, and the one thing that I've learned to do, because short time I've been in the truth, we've been through a whole lot of trials. So one thing that I've learned to do is to kind of like take a step back and ask, all right, is this my trial or is this somebody else's trial? And for me, that's good to know, because it'll show you how to move forward in handling the situation that you're in. If it's your trial, guess what? And you know that there's some self-examination you got to do. You have to look and see, all right, well, what do I have to work on? No matter what the trial is, you have to look at yourself like, all right, what do I have to work on? What is the Most High trying to show me about myself that I need to fix? If it's somebody else's trial, then it's like, all right, how can I help my brother or my sister through this trial? You know what I'm saying? Or are they going through this trial because it's something that I need to learn? All right, so we're gonna go through some scriptures and verify that. Before we do, Romans chapter 15 verse 4. Do I have a brother that's gonna scribe for me? Do I have a brother that's gonna scribe for me? So that's a new way of doing it. All right, Pablo, you want to scribe? All praises. All right, so we're doing Romans 15 verse 4. All right, we're going to start at Romans, the 15th chapter and the 4th verse. It says, for whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. So the things written aforetime, meaning in this entire Bible, it was written for us to learn from. When you learn things, you apply what you've learned. All right. So let's go to Genesis, the 38th chapter. Matter of fact, not 38. 37. Start at chapter 37. Genesis, the 37th chapter. And we're going to start at verse 1. Now, many of us know this history already. A lot of us know this history. It's about Joseph. Joseph's history is really heavy because it can show you the amount of tribulation that somebody can go through and still keep their faith. All right. Because Joseph went through this and it wasn't even his trial. That should show you something. Joseph went through all of this and the trial wasn't even his to begin with. He was sent to be a help in their trial, but he had to go through this in order to be that help. All right, Genesis 37 verse 1 says, "And Jacob dwelt in the land wherein his father was a stranger, in the land of Canaan. These are the generations of Jacob. Joseph, being 17 years old, was feeding the flock with his brethren, and the lad was with the sons of Bilhah and the sons of Zilpah, his father's wives. And Joseph brought unto his father their evil report." So first of all, Joseph constantly applying Leviticus 5:1. Those of you brothers and sisters, when you see evil, you better report it. You better report it. We always grew up talking about no snitching and all of that stuff. That's why our communities are destroyed like the way that they are. It's called accountability. So Joseph was holding his brothers accountable. And let's see what happened. Now Israel loved Joseph more than all his children, because he was the son of his old age, and he made him a coat of many colors. And when his brethren saw that their father loved him more than all his brethren, they hated him and could not speak peaceably unto him. Jealousy. Jealousy was one of the things that the sons of Jacob had to deal with. That was part of who they were on the inside. They had to deal with jealousy and envy. Remember, jump over to Titus right quick. Titus 3:3. Titus chapter 3 verse 3 says, "For we ourselves also were sometimes foolish, disobedient, deceived, serving diverse lusts and pleasures, living in malice and envy, hateful, and hating one another." Same thing that our forefathers did to each other. That's the same thing that we do. We was once living in envy and hatred and malice and all of that stuff. Why? Because that's in us. It's in us to do it. But we got to check that spirit, because we don't know who that spirit may be affecting, or how deeply it may be affecting even your own spirit. Now watch this. Verse 5. "And Joseph dreamed a dream and told his brethren, and they hated him yet the more. Then he said unto him, Hear, I pray you, this dream which I have dreamed. For behold, we were binding sheaves in the field, and lo, my sheaf arose, and also stood upright. And behold, your sheaves stood round about, and made obeisance to my sheaf. And his brethren said to him, Shalt thou indeed reign over us? Or shalt thou indeed have dominion over us? And they hated him yet the more for his dreams and for his words." So a lot of us, we have a certain calling in our lives. We get called into this truth. We're already going to get hated. Why? Because part of the trial of coming into this truth is you being hated by the people that you used to know. You're going to get hated by the people that you used to know. Why? They're going to say, "Oh, what, you think you better than us now?" Well, let's see what the scriptures say. Even when you come into the truth, guess what? You may come into the truth with people. You may come into the truth with people that grew up with you, right? That happens a lot. That happens a lot. You come into truth with your friends. You come into truth with maybe even family members. And guess what? Along the way in this truth, there becomes a separation. You or your family member may get a higher rank than you over the course of time. They may get more responsibilities than you over the course of time. And guess what? Just because they got rank don't mean that they better. It means they got more responsibility. They're held accountable for more. So they have some people that may get jealous over that. Oh, wow, this person got raised up over me. When you're not taking into account, maybe the Lord is testing this brother with the position that he has to make him better. Now you're being tested. Why? Because your trial ain't just yours. His trial ain't just his. His trial is now he has to deal with all of these different responsibilities in the body. It's affecting you because his trial is not his own. It's affecting you. Why? Because now you have to help him get through those trials of the people that's in the body. You got to help keep him focused. You may have to give him reports. All of this stuff works hand in hand. So when you come into the truth, instantly your family members may say, oh, well, what you think you better than everybody else? Well, let's see what the scriptures say. Proverbs chapter 12, verse 26. The righteous is more excellent than his neighbor, but the way of the wicked seduceth them. You are better than everybody else. Yes, that's right. If you're keeping the commandments and the faith of Christ, you're better than everybody else. Even Christianity in its fakeness knows that. Because what do they always say? You have to believe. If you don't believe on Christ, then you can't get the kingdom of heaven if you don't believe on Christ. Even they know that. So if you don't believe on Christ, guess what? I'm better than you because I believe on Christ. I'm going to go to the kingdom of heaven. But when you say it plainly, they don't like to hear that. But it is what it is. So back to Genesis 37. Joseph's brothers see him have a dream. And they interpret the dream off the bat like, hold on, you trying to say you're going to be a ruler over us? They already don't like him. He already the baby brother. And already now the baby brother having dreams that he going to be above them. All right, let's see where this goes. Verse 9, Genesis 37, verse 9. And he dreamed yet another dream and told his brethren and said, behold, I have dreamed a dream more. And behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars made obeisance to me. And he told it to his father and to his brethren. And his father rebuked him and said unto him, what is this dream that thou hast dreamed? Shall I and thy mother and thy brethren indeed come to bow down ourselves to thee to the earth? And his brethren envied him, but his father observed the same. So like I said in Titus, we used to be hateful and envious and hating one another. There's envy inside the family. There's hatred and jealousy inside the family. Whose trial is this? We'll find out. Let's see. Jump down to verse 18. Genesis 37, verse 18. And when they saw him afar off, even before he came near unto them, they conspired against him to slay him. And they said to one another, behold, this dreamer cometh. Come now, therefore, and let us slay him, and cast him into some pit. And we will say, some evil beast had devoured him, and we shall see what will become of his dreams. And Reuben heard it, and delivered him out of their hands, and said, let us not kill him. Trial. Joseph didn't do nothing. There was nothing that Joseph did to get all of this envy and hatred. He didn't ask to be the youngest. He didn't ask for the coat of many colors. He didn't ask for, to be the favorite. He didn't ask for that. It just so happened. So his brothers say, all right, let's kill this dude. That's their trial right there. That envy and that hatred started to become the trial that they needed to get over. Reuben The clear thinking one was like, nah, we can't kill him. Like we can't kill him. Like that's our little brother. We can't kill him. But let's see what we do. Verse 22. And Reuben said unto them, shed no blood, but cast him into this pit that is in the wilderness, and lay no hand upon him, that he might rid him out of their hands, to deliver him to his father again. And it came to pass, when Joseph was come to his brethren, that they stripped Joseph out of his coat of many colors that was on him. And they took him and cast him into a pit. And the pit was empty, and there was no water in it. And they sat down to eat bread. And they lifted up their eyes and looked, and behold, a company of Ishmaelites came from Gilead, with their camels bearing spicery and balm and myrrh, going to carry it down to Egypt. And Judah said to his brethren, what profit is it if we slay our brother and conceal his blood? Come, let us sell him to the Ishmaelites, and let not our hand be upon him, for he is our brother and our flesh. And his brethren were content. So remember, Joseph had this dream that everybody was going to bow down to him. They hated this dude for the dream. Joseph had a calling in his life to be above everybody. But his brothers was like, first of all, let's kill him. Reuben said, nah, don't kill him. Let's just put him right here and that's it. Try to get him back to his father. Judah said, nah, let's sell him, because Judah always trying to make money off somebody. Shout out to the tribe of Judah. I am in the tribe of Judah. So Judah said, no, let's go ahead and let's sell him to the Ishmaelites. They selling them down into Egypt. All right. Now, watch this. Jump over to chapter 38. And no, not 38. Chapter 39. Genesis chapter 39. So the trial that his brothers had was they was envious, they was hateful, and they was jealous. All right. They hated their own brother. That's their trial. That's the thing that they have to get over. Whose trial was it? It was theirs. Joseph didn't do nothing. Joseph didn't do anything to deserve anything that they did to him. All he did was tell them some dreams that he had, and he was the favorite son at the time. All right, then Benjamin came, and Benjamin was he was held close, very close. So watch this. Genesis 39 says, and Joseph was brought, verse 1, and Joseph was brought down to Egypt, and Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard, an Egyptian, brought him out of the hands of the Ishmaelites, which had brought him down thither. And the Lord was with Joseph, and he was prosperous, and he was a prosperous man. And he was in the house of his master, the Egyptian. And his master saw that the Lord was with him, and the Lord made all that he did to prosper in his hand. And Joseph found grace in his sight, and he served him, and made him overseer of his house. And all that he had he put into his hand. And it came to pass that from the time that he had made him an overseer in his house, and over all he had, that the Lord blessed the Egyptian house for Joseph's sake. And the blessing of the Lord was upon all that he had in the house. And he left all that he had in Joseph's hand. He knew not aught he had, save the bread which he did eat. And Joseph was a goodly person and well favored. So, once again, the hand of the Lord was on Joseph. All right. The hand of the Lord was on Joseph. Though Joseph is now a servant to the Egyptian, he got sold by his own brothers to the Ishmaelites. The Ishmaelites sold him to an Egyptian. But now that Egyptian that he's under, Joseph doing good work. Guess what? Even though his brothers did this to him, Joseph still stayed focused. It's a lot of times that what we don't do in our trials, we don't remain focused. A lot of us, we go through a trial and we start quitting left and right. We go through certain trials and we quit the work of the Lord. We go through certain trials. We abandon our posts. We leave our people. Now think about it. Joseph had a dream that everybody was going to bow down to him. He didn't know how it was going to happen. He just knew that's what the dream said twice. And everybody said it. Everybody had that ability to hear the dream and interpret it immediately and know, damn, this dude Joseph said he going to be over us. All right, well, let's see what happens. In the midst of all of this that's going on with his brothers, he get more stuff added onto him. So in the midst of this, in the midst of his brother's trial, Joseph himself has a trial. Genesis 39, verse 7. And it came to pass after these things that his master's wife cast her eyes upon Joseph and said, lie with me. But he refused and said unto his master's wife, behold, my master wotteth not what is with me in the house, and he hath committed all that he hath to my hand. There is none greater in this house than I, neither hath he kept back anything from me but thee, because thou art his wife. How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against God? So Joseph still kept his wits. And it's not like in this situation, I don't think the woman would be ugly. You know, I know we try to look at Hamites like they busted, but some of them don't be ugly. So let's say this woman was bad. She's an Egyptian's wife. They living in his house. He's an officer of Pharaoh. He's one of the captains of Pharaoh. So you know he ain't broke. He's not one of the broke Egyptians. She trying to sleep with Joseph. Lust was one of his trials. He said, nah. He fled that thing. He left. Ran out. Verse 10. And it came to pass as she spoke to Joseph day by day, that he hearkened not unto her to lay by her or to be with her. Every single day this woman tried to get him. Every single day this woman tried to be with him. And every single day he said no. Joseph still kept his wits like, nah, you ain't about to get me caught up. No. Why? Because the law of the Lord is still on his mind. That's how you know before Moses, there was the law. There was the law. How do we know this? Read verse 9 again. There is none greater in this house than I, neither hath he kept back anything from me but thee, because thou art his wife. How then can I do this great wickedness and sin, transgress the law against God? How would that be a sin in Genesis 39 of adultery if they claim that the law only came by Moses? This is proof that the law was before Moses. The law was way before Moses. Why? Because Joseph was concerned about committing adultery right here. And he still kept his wits. Because I know a lot of brothers, they go through trials. And then for some odd reason, they do more BS. You may get demoted. And then right after you get demoted, you talking to a female on the side. You at a low point, she come to you. Oh, what's going on? What happened? She come at the right time. The right female come at the right time. All for the wrong reasons. And you got to keep your wits about you to see whether or not, why is she here? Because I have lust in me. Because I have desire in me. And I need to check that. So I need to leave. I need to cut off all communications with this woman. We got to step back and start to think. All right. Now we're gonna jump down to verse 13. Matter of fact, so I'm gonna keep on reading. Verse 11. And it came to pass about this time that Joseph went into the house to do his business, and there was none of the men of the house there within. And she caught him by his garment, saying, lie with me. And he left his garment in her hand and fled and got him out. So she grabbed him. And nowadays, Lord have mercy. That's what's going on nowadays. Women is grabbing men. But he slipped up out of that thing and left and ran. And let's see what happened after that. And it came to pass, when she saw that he had left his garment in her hand and was fled forth, that she came unto the men of her house, and spake unto them, saying, See, he hath brought it in Hebrew unto us to mock us. He came in unto me to lie with me, and I cried with a loud voice. So if somebody comes to the woman, she cries with a loud voice, what's that called? Rape. Rape. That's written in the law of Moses. But guess what? It's written here too. Yeah, the devil will send the right person for the wrong reasons. You could be going through a trial and that ex-girlfriend pull up. Or that crush that you always had pull up. Or one of your homeboys may pull up, or your homegirls may pull up. One of the people you used to smoke weed with all the time. One of the people you used to go out drinking with all the time. One of the people that used to take you on your rides and go to the club to clear your mind. Yeah, the right person come along at the right time. You needed this. This is what you needed. This is, you know what I'm saying? You needed a way to clear your head. But is that the biblical way to do it? Think about it. And it came to pass, verse 15, and it came to pass, when he heard that I lifted up my voice and cried, that he left his garment with me and fled and got him out. And she laid his garment up by her until his Lord came home. And she spake unto him according to these words, saying, The Hebrew servant, which thou hast brought unto us, came in unto us to mock me. And it came to pass, as I lifted up my voice and cried, that he left his garment with me and fled out. And it came to pass, when his master heard the words of his wife, which he spake unto him, saying, After this manner did thy servant to me, that his wrath was kindled. Now think about this. She's accusing this man of rape. She's accusing this man of trying to force himself on her. What do you think the penalty would have been? Death. Death. But guess what? His brother's trials is not done yet. So Joseph can't die right now. His brothers had a trial of envy, jealousy, and hatred towards Joseph because of the dreams that Joseph had. Joseph, because of his dreams, had to go through a certain trial in order for that dream to come to pass. Everybody is intertwined. Why? Because his brother's trial was not just theirs. His trial was not just his. His trial already had him working in the Egyptian's house, accused of rape by the Egyptian's wife. Now he got to get thrown in jail. And while he's in jail, more people are affected by his trial. More people. It just goes to show you, your trial is not just yours. You're not just in this by yourself. No matter what you think, you're not in this trial by yourself. Everything that you're doing, everything that you're going through, it's affecting everybody around you. Everybody. If you got a marital trial, guess what? You're going to need counsel from somebody in the body in order to get through that trial. That trial is now affecting that person giving you counsel, because now they have to give you scriptural counsel to help you mend your marriage. You're going through congregational trials. Guess what? You need people in that congregation to help you to deal with whatever's going through it. If there's murmuring going on, if there's jealousy, if there's hatred, if there's a misunderstanding, guess what? Matthew 18, what's the steps? You go to that person by themselves. If they hear you, all praises. If they don't, you get a witness. Guess what? Those witnesses are now added into your trial. If they hear the witnesses, all praises. If they don't, then you got to bring it before the body. Now the entire congregation is now added into your trial. Now everybody knows, and now everybody got to see it. Now everybody got to have their input. Like, no, you was wrong. This person was right. Or no, that person was wrong. You was right. Your trial ain't just yours. So now Joseph gets locked up in the prison, right? Joseph gets locked up in the prison. And there's one thing that I want to let me see. We're going to Genesis chapter 40 and verse 14. Genesis 40 and 14. So remember, Joseph in jail. I don't know how many of you brothers and sisters ever been in jail before. But when you trying to get out of jail and you ain't got nobody to call and ain't nobody listening to you, that is a trial of its own. Especially he's in jail innocently. He's an innocent man in jail. Some of us go to jail, we swear to God we're innocent, but we know we're not. We just don't like being there because we regret what we did to get there. But Joseph was innocent. Now watch this. Genesis chapter 40, verse 14. Now remember, the chief butler and the chief baker, they all in jail together with Joseph. He interprets their dreams for him, and this is what Joseph said. He said to the butler, he said, but think on me, Genesis 40, verse 14. But think on me when it shall be well with thee, and show kindness, I pray thee, unto me, and make mention of me unto Pharaoh, and bring me out of this house. For indeed I was stolen away out of the land of the Hebrews, and here also I have done nothing that I should be put, that they should put me into the dungeon. So he's like, look, bro, I'm gonna help you interpret these dreams, because the chief baker and the chief butler, they going through a trial. They now, whatever they did to get thrown in jail, now they don't know what's gonna happen to them, whether they're gonna die, whether they're gonna live. Butler, he said, you're gonna be restored. Baker, you gonna get put to death. I'm sorry, that's what it is. You had the dream, I'm just interpreting the dream. He said, but look, man, look, when it goes well with you, Butler, look, tell Pharaoh about me. Let Pharaoh know about me. All right? Because look, I was already stolen away from my house, sold down here. I ain't even do nothing to get put in jail. Let's see what happened. We're going to jump down to verse 20. I'm going to jump down to verse 20. It said, and it came to pass the third day, which was Pharaoh's birthday, that he made a feast unto all his servants, and he lifted up the head of the chief butler and the chief baker among his servants. And he restored the chief butler to his butlership again, and he gave the cup Pharaoh's hand. And he gave the cup into Pharaoh's hand. But he hanged the chief baker, as Joseph had interpreted. Yet did not the chief butler remember Joseph, but forgot him. Yet another trial. Helping brothers throughout through their stuff. And guess what? It's one thing I like about Joseph. Joseph gave them sound counsel. Was the Israelites? No. No. How else? Let's show you something real quick. Go to Deuteronomy chapter 4. We're going to start at verse 5. This is something that I can directly attest to. Joseph, a Hebrew, one of the sons of Jacob, gave sound counsel to heathens. Why? So that he could have a good report. A lot of times we go off on people like we don't got to live with them. We be going off on the people that live here like we ain't got to live here every day. Y'all be going off on people at your job, ignoring people. And not everybody does this, but, the ones that are new into the truth, they come in, they want to throw the hammer at everybody, not knowing you still got to come your behind to work tomorrow. They still over you in this job. They have the power to fight, to fire you or not. They have the ability to get you set up or not. Watch this. Deuteronomy 4 verse 5. It said, behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my God commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whither ye go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear of all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. What would make them say that? What would make them say, damn, this is a wise and understanding people? What would make them say, damn, y'all Israelites, y'all sure do know what y'all talking about? Sound counsel. By giving the people the laws of God. I used to do it. They used to have an Edomite that I work with. And he was the manager of this place that I worked at. And he used to always see me reading the Bible. And he saw how I carried myself. And sometimes he would ask me, Matthew, what is the Lord telling you? Like, I'm going through this and I'm going through that, and this is going on and that's going on. And, you know, sometimes, man, I don't know what to do. Corporate is getting on my behind about this, and corporate is saying this and corporate is saying that. So without naming the scripture, I just say, hey, well, you know, those are the powers that be. You know, you have to follow the powers that be. I mean, I know it may be frustrating. You know, I would give him counsel out of the Bible. And guess what? From that, I was in his good graces. And anytime I needed an off day, like, yeah, take it. You know what? I'll give you, because I know you got stuff to do. I'll give you the day off with pay. Oh, okay. You can't work Friday nights anymore? All right. Well, look, just work Friday in the daytime. And then you come back Sunday for a few hours to, you know, rectify what wasn't done Friday night. Telling y'all, you got to learn how to play this game how it need to be played, because they do it with you. So then guess what? His trial wasn't his own. His trial wasn't his own. He came to me, the lowest on the totem pole at the job, for counsel on how to get through his own trial. Why? Because we are a wise and understanding people. And this is what we have to act like. So the chief butler forgot him, right? Now, we're going to jump over to verse, chapter 41. We're going to read verses. We're going to start at verse 1 to show you how long the period of time was. So Joseph got forgotten, right? Joseph got forgotten. Watch this. Chapter 41, verse 1. And it came to pass at the end of 2 full years that Pharaoh dreamed, and behold, he stood by the river. Now, 2 full years Joseph remained in jail. Remember, he helped the chief butler and the chief baker understand the dreams that they had. They was going through something and Joseph helped them out and still kept a good report, but they forgot him. Why? Because your trial ain't there yet. Remember, the trial was Joseph's brothers. It was their trial. But certain things started to happen. Joseph had dreams of what was supposed to happen. That envy and that jealousy was their trial that they had to deal with. They failed, obviously, because they sold their brother to Ishmael, which then sold him to Pharaoh, Pharaoh's officer, which then he was accused by Pharaoh's officer's wife, by Potiphar's wife, of rape, got thrown in jail, helped out the chief butler and the chief baker to understand their situation, got forgot for the course of 2 years, and now we're here. Jump over to verse 9. Then spake the chief butler unto Pharaoh, saying, I do remember my faults this day. Pharaoh was wroth with his servants, and put me in ward in the captain of the guard's house, both me and the chief baker. And we dreamed the dream in one night, I and he. And we dreamed each man according to the interpretation of his dreams. And there was there with us a young man, an Hebrew, servant to the captain of the guard, and we told him, and he interpreted to us our dreams. To each man according to his dream did he interpret. And it came to pass, as he interpreted to us, so it was. Me he restored to mine office, and him he hanged. Then Pharaoh sent and called Joseph, and they brought him hastily out of the dungeon. And he shaved himself and changed his raiment and came in unto Pharaoh. So now they remember. Now guess what? All of the stuff that Joseph then went through is about to culminate. Everything is about to change for the better. Why? Because now he remained faithful, and he was 17 when this stuff happened. We know over the course of time that, he was working in Potiphar's house. We don't know how long it was, but we do know that it was 2 full years that he remained in jail after the time that he was already there. So some years then passed. He was going through this trial for years. Some of us go through trials for weeks and think that we can't take it no more. Our forefathers went through things for years, and still remained faithful, still kept their wits about them, still kept their eyes and their mind on the law of the Lord. Now, so Joseph interpreted Pharaoh's dreams, right? Now watch this. Genesis 41, chapter 30, verse 37. Chapter 41, verse 37. And it said, and the thing was good in the eyes of Pharaoh and in the eyes of all his servants. And Pharaoh said unto his servants, can we find such a one as this is, a man in whom the Spirit of God is? What was they just saying just now? Surely this is a wise and understanding nation. They looked at Joseph and was like, man, the Spirit of the Lord working with this dude. How they know about the Spirit of the Lord? How did Egyptians know about the Spirit of the Lord? Because everybody on the planet at one time knew the laws of God. Everybody knew that. Why do you think when Abraham said, no, this is my sister, and Abimelech got mad, like, man, somebody could have laid with her and sinned against God. Why you ain't just tell me this was your wife? Because they knew that adultery was wrong. Over the course of time, the other nations went away from the laws of God, and we kept hold to them. That's why it's our job to govern everything by the laws of God. Verse 38 again. And Pharaoh said unto his servants, can we find such a one as this, a man in whom the Spirit of God is? And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, for as much as God has showed thee all this, there is none so discreet and wise as thou art. Thou shalt be over mine house, and according to thy word shall all my people be ruled. Only in the throne will I be greater than thou. Second in command in Egypt. Second in command in Egypt. So, because I got other examples that I want to go over, we know that everything that happened after this point, the famine hit, Joseph's family comes down. They don't recognize Joseph, but Joseph does recognize them. And guess what? He's ruler over them. He's telling them what to do. Up until he reveals himself, then his father and them, they all move down. And guess what? Joseph's dream come true. But what happened to Joseph for that dream to come true? A lot of us be having dreams and we don't know what they mean. But guess what? It may be a good thing. You may be walking in the kingdom. Maybe you may see yourself. You may see destruction coming and all of that stuff. I know a lot of people have those destruction dreams. Well, guess what? What's it going to take for you to be there to see the destruction? A whole lot. A whole lot. We're going to have to see our brothers and sisters get killed. We're going to have to watch the tribulation, the famine that's coming, the tribulation, Joseph's trouble, and all of that stuff that's coming. We're going to have to live through it, through that, in order to see the destruction come and the deliverance to follow. We're going to have to see a whole lot. Want to know why? Because our trial ain't just ours. What you going through, you ain't the only one going through it, because you need counsel. That involves somebody. You need assistance. That involves somebody else. And then guess what? After you've gotten over your trial, somebody else going to have the same trial, and you're going to have to help them. How do we know this? Genesis 50, verse 20. Genesis chapter 50, verse 20. It said, but as for you, ye thought evil against me, but God meant it unto good, to bring to pass, as at this day, to save much people alive. Their trial was for them. Well, Joseph's brother's trial, the sons of Israel, their trial was, hey, we have envy and hatred toward our brother. They don't know how to get over it. So you know what they do? They had to do evil against their brother. And the Lord had to place their brother in a certain position so that could come back to them. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find that right quick. Let me see if I can find that right quick. Man, it just popped up into my head. Where Reuben said, didn't I tell y'all to leave him alone? I ain't gonna waste too much time on it. But there was a part where Reuben said, listen, didn't I tell y'all not to touch the lad? Didn't I tell y'all to leave him alone? I told y'all to leave him alone. That's when Joseph heard it and he started crying, right? So it was already there that, man, we know we wrong for what we just did. We know we wrong. Y'all, we was wrong for what we did, and now everything has come back on us. Now we about to get dealt with because of what we did to our brother. And guess what? Repentance came after that. Repentance came after that. But guess what? They wouldn't have got to that point if Joseph wouldn't have gotten to the point that he got to. Joseph became great and powerful. And guess what? They had to go through all of that stuff. Because why? It needed to happen because Joseph had a dream that everybody would bow down to him. Genesis 42, 22. Yeah. All praises. And I was at 42 too. All right, Genesis 42, 22. Appreciate you, Op. Genesis 42, 22. It said, and Reuben answered him, saying, spake I not unto you, saying, do not sin against the child? And you would not hear. Therefore, behold, also his blood is required. And they knew not Joseph understood him, for he spake to them by the interpreter. So Reuben was like, look, I told y'all from the beginning, don't do it. We read it. We just read it. We read it where Reuben said, don't kill him. But look, cast him into the pit. And it was of Reuben's mind to return him back to Jacob. But Judah, being Judah, had to push the envelope and sell him to Ishmael. That's why Reuben came back like, man, where's Joseph at? What happened? I told y'all don't do nothing. But that was their trial. That was their trial. And it came full circle to come right here for Joseph to say, I know where everything that y'all did was for evil, but God meant it for good. He sent me here to preserve life. He meant it for good for me to go through all of the stuff that I went through, all of the stuff that Joseph went through. At the end of the day, at the end of everything, Joseph was second in command to Egypt, and he was able to put his brothers in a position to where that they can now thrive and survive. There was a famine everywhere, but guess what? Joseph was able to give his family a plot of land, and they was in Pharaoh's good graces because of Joseph. Because of Joseph, they was in Pharaoh's good graces to be like, all right, look, set your family over here. Let them be over there. They can have whatever they want. In the midst of a famine. It shows that their trial put Joseph through hell in order to save the entire nation. So when you're going through things, don't think that, damn, this is the end of the world. I ain't used to this. I ain't ready for this. You know, I used to hear brothers, physically hear brothers say, I didn't sign up to go through this. The hell you didn't. The hell you didn't. When you repented as an Israelite and broke bread, you said, I'm ready to do whatever it takes to get the kingdom. And sometimes you got to deal with envy and hatred and jealousy. Sometimes you got to deal with folk lying on you. Sometimes you got to deal with being wrongfully accused. Watch this. This is one scripture I can say, help me in this truth. This is one scripture that helped me in this truth. If ain't nothing else help me in the application of a trial, this one did. Go to 1 Peter chapter 2. First Peter chapter 2, we're going to start at verse 19. If ain't no other scripture help me in this truth, this helped me. Like I said before, you know, Bishop got the class 3 trials of faith. And all of them 3 trials, you ain't never by yourself. The personal trial, you ain't by yourself because you need counsel from a counselor. Now, that's your trial, but they got to help you through it. You may be going through that trial. You may be going through that because that person trial is how to give counsel. Things may happen in the body because it may be one person's trial to apply Leviticus 5:1. So things will start happening in the body and they'll keep on happening until that person passed their test. Until that person learns to apply Leviticus 5:1, things will still keep on happening. You're like, damn, why does stuff keep on happening? Because it's either your trial or somebody else. And they may hear and see all of the stuff, all of the wickedness that's being said, all of the murmuring, all of the gossip, and they're not saying nothing. Not saying nothing. And it still continues to go. Still continues to grow and fester. You wonder, like, damn. Until that person steps up and say, look, I should have been said something a couple months ago, this, that, and the third happened. Now we understand. Now that person gets dealt with, they either get put out or they get corrected, stood up, embarrassed, whatever need to happen. Then that don't happen no more. Because that trial was supposed to be what it was supposed to be at that time. Watch this. 1 Peter 2, verse 19. It says, for this is thankworthy, if a man for conscience toward God endure grief, suffering wrongfully. For what glory is it when ye be buffeted for your faults and you take it patiently? Like, for instance, like I was saying earlier, if you've been in jail before, you know that you did something to be put in jail. You know that. You're there for a reason. You broke some law and you're there for a reason. That's why when a lot of people get caught, they just relax. You know, they be in the cell, sleep. You know what I'm saying? Because like, all right, I know I'm in here. I know why I'm in here. I did something to be here. It is what it is. You know you did something. So if you buffeted, meaning you corrected for your faults and you take it patiently, what glory is that? You know you did something wrong, so you deserve what you get. But watch this. But if when you do well and suffer for it, you take it patiently, this is acceptable with God. Christ didn't do nothing. Christ didn't do nothing. He did well, very well. And guess what? He suffered wrongfully. He got lied on. He got betrayed. He got thrown in jail and he got put to death. Capital punishment. He got executed. An innocent man being executed. Look at Joseph. Joseph didn't do nothing. Joseph had a dream, got hated on. Joseph did his job, got accused of rape. Joseph helped people out, got forgotten. But still stayed true, helped out the right person, and got put in a position to do everything that needed to happen for his people. Because he remained faithful. He took it patiently. Patiently. What happens? A lot of people leave the truth because they're mad at a moment. Let's see another trial. Let's go to Numbers 20. Numbers chapter 20. Numbers chapter 20. We're going to start at verse 7. This is yet another trial. Trial that I know that I deal with on occasion. The trial of anger. The trial of anger. Let's see. Numbers chapter 20, verse 7. It said, And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Take the rod, and gather thou the assembly together, thou and Aaron, thy brother, and speak ye unto the rock before their eyes, and it shall give forth his water, and thou shalt bring forth to them water out of the rock. So shalt thou give the congregation and their beasts drink. And Moses took the rod from before the Lord as he commanded him. And Moses and Aaron gathered the congregation together before the rock. And he said unto them, Hear now, ye rebels, much we fetch you water out of the rock? And Moses lifted up his hand, and with his rod he smote the rock twice, and the water came out abundantly. And the congregation drank, and their beasts also. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron, Because ye believe me not, to sanctify me in the eyes of the children of Israel, therefore ye shall not bring this congregation into the land which I have given them. So Moses was given clear direction. Now you got to think about it. Moses for decades was dealing with these folk being rebellious as hell, constantly complaining, constantly murmuring, constantly getting put to death and then repenting, and then doing something stupid and getting put to death and repenting, and constantly doing something stupid and getting put to death and repenting, constantly over and over. And guess what? Moses was so frustrated, he didn't follow what the Lord said to do. The Lord said, Speak to the rock, and the rock is going to bring forth water. Moses said, Must we fetch you? Moses put himself in the Lord's shoes. Like, must we fetch you water out this rock? Smote the rock twice. Moses like, no. The Lord said, nah, I was supposed to be sanctified in this. You're supposed to speak to the rock. I was going to bring forth water, and they were supposed to say, all glory to the Father. You said, must we fetch you water? Like, you the one that's giving them the water. So for that reason, his little one slip up, he wasn't able to go into the promised land. Because of that one thing. He wasn't able to bring them into the promised land. Because that trial of anger, it always affects everybody. The children of Israel, their trial was them coming out of the slave mentality. And they always complained and bickered about every little thing, which in turn caused Moses to be so upset that he didn't follow what the Lord said to do. It cost him the promised land. It cost him the promised land. Why? Because their trial wasn't just theirs. It was Moses too. They went to Moses for advice. Moses was the person that enforced the laws and taught them what the Lord taught him. And because of all of that, guess what? His anger came up, and it had to happen. It had to happen. It had to happen for us to learn from, to always give the Lord glory, and to always remember that our trials is not just ours. 2 Samuel 16 and 5. 2 Samuel 16 and 5. Second Samuel 16:5. Show you how clear David was thinking. Show you how clear David was thinking. And this is how we all got to think. This is how we all got to think. I'm telling you, going forward, this is how we all got to think. 2 Samuel 16:5, it said, and when King David came to Bahurim, behold, thence came out a man of the family of the house of Saul, whose name was Shimei, the son of Gera. And he came forth and cursed still as he came. And he cast stones at David, and all the servants of King David, and all the people, and all the mighty men were on his right hand and on his left. And thus said Shimei when he cursed, come out, thou bloody man, thou art a man of Belial. And the Lord hath returned upon thee all the blood of the house of Saul. Remember it said, thus says Shimei when he cursed, come out, thou bloody man, and thou man of Belial. Back then, those was curse words. To call somebody a bloody man and a man of Belial, meaning a child of the devil, a man of uncleanliness, those was curse words back then. For you sensitive Christians out there that don't like curse words, English curse words that are mainly acronyms and don't really mean anything. They get upset when you hear ass, when ass is written in the Bible, or damn, or hell. So being cursed out back then was being called a bloody man and a man of Belial. So that was being cursed out back then. That was the ultimate offense back then. Verse 8 again. The Lord hath returned upon thee all the blood of the house of Saul, in whose stead thou hast reigned. And the Lord hath delivered the kingdom into the hand of Absalom thy son. And behold, thou art taken in thy mischief, because thou art a bloody man. So this dude is coming out talking mad stuff, saying, man, you the devil. That's why Absalom take over your whole kingdom. That's why you want to run from your own son. All of this stuff. And guess what? That happens to us today. We come into this truth. Though any one thing bad happen, your family is right there. See, that's why you're going through that. That's why you're going through that, because you done left the church. That's why God, yep, that's God punishing you. Yep, that's God punishing you. And you should have known better than that. That's good for your ass. No, see if them little Israelite people over there going to help you out. Yeah, that's what they do. That's what they do. They wait to capitalize on any bad thing that happens. Any bad thing that happens, they're willing to capitalize on it. But guess what? This is what you got to understand. Verse 9. Then said Abishai, the son of Zeruiah, unto the king, why should this dead dog curse my lord the king? Let me go over, I pray thee, and take off his head. Trial. They got people that's talking that stuff to you. Guess what? Sometimes you got to let them talk. Sometimes they may have people, some of your people may be alright. Like, man, look, let's deal with this dude. Trust me, there'd be certain things that happen to Bishop. Like, they be telling us and, we be hearing from him. Like, certain things be happening to him. And the carnal side of me be like, bruh, man, let's go see about these dudes. Like, nah, you ain't about to disrespect my people like that. And, sometimes it'd be like, bruh, nah, that's not the spirit to roll in. I understand that spirit, but that's not the spirit to roll in. That's not the spirit to roll in. We can't just take upon. That's why the scriptures say, avenge not yourselves. This is the application of David avenging not himself. Watch this. Verse 10. And the king said, what have I to do to you? What have I to do with you, ye sons of Zeruiah? So let him curse, because the Lord hath said unto him, curse David. Who shall say then, wherefore hast thou done so? What did David understand? If he's talking against me, it's because the Lord want him to. It's because the Lord want him to. He said, we and our words are in the hand of the Lord. We and our words, everything that come out your mouth is in the hand of the Lord. The people that curse us out at camp, they was ordained to say it. Remember, there's people that's ordained to condemnation. Certain people ordained to destruction. They're ordained to be there to scoff. He was ordained to be there to curse out David, and David understood that. Like, nah, let him curse. The Lord told him to curse me out. So what am I going to do against that? The Lord put him there to curse me out. That's what a lot of us have to understand. Certain people that are put in your lives to curse you out, bruh, let them talk. Let them talk. They dare to do that. It's your trial to leave it alone. Some of us, we get so emotional, we can't leave stuff alone. We can't just let somebody just talk their nonsense, because half of it do be nonsense. Can't let them just talk their nonsense and let that be that. Nah, you gotta snap back. Now, there's certain instances where that's allowed, like going to camp, spreading the gospel. You know what I'm saying? Defending yourself, defending your name. But if you know you ain't did nothing, and people coming out against you all ways and every which way, man, let them people talk. And that's hard to do. Even as I'm saying it, I'm thinking like, bro, how the hell? That's hard to do. That is very hard to do. But that's why we have to keep ourselves focused on what's really at hand. God is in control of all of this. He's in control of all of this. You can't just take everything upon yourself. There's a reason why the scriptures say, avenge not yourselves. Let me see. Yeah, we're gonna start. We're gonna go to Proverbs 24. That's a good little precept. That's a good little precept. We're gonna start at verse 19. We're gonna start at verse 19. Proverbs 24, verse 19. It said, "Fret not thyself because of evil men, neither be thou envious at the wicked, for there shall be no reward to the evil man. The candle of the wicked shall be put out." They all gonna die. They all gonna die. Don't fret yourself because of them. They're gonna die anyway. They're gonna die anyway. If they don't keep these commandments in the faith of Christ, they're going to die anyway. Now watch this. 1 Kings chapter 11. 1 Kings chapter 11. Watch this. 1 Kings chapter 11, verse 4. All right. Show y'all. Even lust is not just your trial. Even lust is not just your trial. It says 1 Kings 11:4. It said, "For it came to pass when Solomon was old, that his wives turned away his heart after other gods, and his heart was not perfect with the Lord his God, as was the heart of his father, of David his father." So we know Solomon's issue. Solomon had females. Almost slipped up and said something else. Solomon had females. All right. Solomon had a whole lot of women. And in that, he went through a whole lot of grief. The book of Proverbs and the book of Ecclesiastes, those are a lot of lessons to learn. Everything that you should and should not do. Now watch this. Let's go over to Proverbs chapter 2, verse 1. Matter of fact, 10. Proverbs chapter 2, verse 10. It said, "When wisdom entereth into thine heart, and knowledge is pleasant unto thy soul, discretion shall preserve thee, understanding shall keep thee, to deliver thee from the way of the evil man, from the man that speaketh froward things." We just read that. How was David kept from the froward man, from the evil man? Because wisdom entereth into his heart, and knowledge was pleasant with him, and discretion preserved him. David had enough discretion to know, you know what? Don't do him nothing. Don't do him nothing. Don't take his head off his shoulders like I know you want to do. Don't do him nothing. The Lord put it in his heart to curse me, so what can I do against that? David understood. Why? Because we are a wise and understanding people. In order to be a wise and understanding people, guess what? You got to go through things. To get wisdom, you got to go through things. You think the bishops and the deacons and the captains have the wisdom that they have without having to go through trials? You would be surprised at the amount of trials that our leadership goes through in order to give out the Sabbath lessons and in order to give the counsel that they give. It's a whole lot that goes into what we are in. We're in this for life. Whether you stay or whether you leave, you're in this for life. Ain't no getting out of this. You're an Israelite and you know you are. So you either take the trial on and ride this thing till the wheels fall off, or you can quit. And you're still going to see the same end that everybody else is going to see. Only difference is what side you're going to be on, the salvation side or the destruction side. It said to deliver thee from the way of the evil man, from the man that speaketh froward things. Verse 13. Who leave the paths of uprightness to walk in the ways of darkness, who rejoice to do evil and delight in the frowardness of the wicked, whose ways are crooked, and they froward in their paths, to deliver thee from the strange woman, even the stranger which flattereth with her words. Why would Solomon tell you about the strange woman? Why would he tell you about the strange woman? Because he dealt with strange women. We just read it, 1 Kings 11. He dealt with strange women, so he could tell you, hey man, don't do that. Don't do that. You need the commandments of God, because the commandments of God is going to keep you away from that strange woman. Which forsaketh the God of her youth, and forgetteth the covenant of her God. A lot of sisters, this is how you forsake the God of your youth. When you open your legs up to a man that ain't your husband. A lot of our sisters walking around calling themselves queens and princesses and all this, that, and the third, goddesses and all that. You ain't none of that if you done been bust up. It is what it is. It is what it is. That's why a lot of our sisters, they don't like to hear the truth, because there's a whole lot of correction they need to come with it. Men, we taking correction. You tell a man get a job, what he do? He go get a job. You tell him he got to fix this and fix that. Guess what? We fixed it and fixed that. There's no big backlash of black men saying ain't no good women in the world. Meanwhile, we understand. Yeah, we know that, she over there with 3-4 kids because, one of them kids mine and 3 of them for 3 other dudes. We understand that. We get it. Men, we get held accountable. We've been held accountable for years. For years. We didn't took our lumps, and guess what? It is what it is. We understand. We messed up. Now we got to fix it. Now that we are fixing it, we about to fix everybody else. Yes, you better believe that. Just like Solomon was trying to. Solomon didn't want to listen. So he said, look, you keep these commandments and you get discretion, they're gonna preserve you, or else you're gonna fall for the trick of these strange women. You're gonna fall for it every time. Verse 17 again. Which forsaketh the God of her youth, and forgetteth the covenant of her God. For her house inclineth unto death, and her paths to the dead. None that go unto her return again, neither take they hold of the paths of life, that thou mayest walk in the way of good men, and keep the path of the righteous. So this is how you have to understand the strange woman. That's death to a lot of brothers. A lot of brothers. I know a lot of dudes in jail right now because of women. A lot of dudes in situations right now because of their lust. Their lust brought them to go after certain women, and those women made them pay for it. Physically and spiritually. Watch this. Proverbs chapter 5, verse 1. It says, my son, attend unto my wisdom, and bow thy ear to my knowledge, that thou mayest regard discretion, and that thy lips may keep knowledge. Once again, going back to the commandments. Going back to the commandments. What do we have to do? Keep the commandments. The commandments is going to teach us discretion. What is that discretion going to keep us from? Verse 3. For the lips of a strange woman drop as an honeycomb, and her mouth is smoother than oil. Oh, they got game. They got game. The strange woman, they got game. That's why I was saying about the trials earlier. You going through a marital trial. Now, whose trial is it? Yours or your wife? Are y'all both bickering, going back and forth at each other? Both y'all using y'all words as weapons against one another? Is she insecure about something? She withholding sex? Are you belittling her, berating? All of these things got to come into play. You got to step back and examine yourself. Whose trial is it? Because if it is indeed whoever's trial it is, guess what's going to happen? That smooth talking man or that smooth talking woman is going to come into your life. Tell you how good you look. Tell you that, I would do this if you was mine. I would do that if you was mine. Or your wife don't do this. Well, I would do that to my husband. Or your man don't do that. I would do that to my wife. Tell you everything. Why? Read it again. For the lips of a strange woman drop as an honeycomb, and her mouth is smoother than oil. They know exactly what you need to hear. That spirit that's in them knows that spirit that's in you. And they know that that spirit that's in you is thirsty for attention. And if you're not keeping the commandments in the forefront of your mind, you're not going to use the commandments to repair your marriage. And guess what? You're going to keep your trial all to yourself, thinking it ain't going to affect nobody. Then you mess around and commit adultery. And now guess what? You stood up in front of the congregation. Now, everybody that looked up to you, everybody that held you in high regard, now guess what? That image is shot. You got to rebuild that name all over again. All of those connections and stuff that you done built up in this truth, guess what? You can't use them right now because now you got to get put out. That affects other people. That affects the little ones that look at you and like they look up to you. And it's like, damn, what? Well, they fell. Well, damn, what's going to happen with me? But if you're strong in that, if you keep the commandments, you hold your wits, you reach out for counsel. Hey, look, Cap, man, look, you got this sister, me and my wife going through it. This sister just pops out of nowhere. Then you can have leadership. Man, you got the damn devil on you. You wicked as hell, bro. You need to stay focused. The point is to always remember your trial is not just yours. Reach out to your officers. Hey, officer, man, look, I'm going through this, and this how I want to handle it. What you think? And they'll tell you instantly, nah, bro, you got the devil on you. That ain't the right way to go. Well, I'm gonna read it again. For the lips of a strange woman drop as in honeycomb, and her mouth is smoother than oil. But her end is bitter as wormwood, sharp as a two-edged sword. Her feet go down to death. Her steps take hold on hell. Lest thou should ponder the path of life. Her ways are movable, that thou cannot know them. Hear me now, therefore, O ye children, and depart not from the words of my mouth. Remove thy way far from her, and come not nigh the door of her house. What did Joseph do? Removed himself far from her. That strange woman that was speaking smoother than oil. Think about it. Think about it. She tried that with Joseph. Who else she tried that with? Then she tried that with the other men that worked in the house? Think Potiphar's wife tried that with the other servants that worked in the house? And Joseph was the only one that didn't do it? Joseph might be inclined to tell his master, the Egyptian, hey, you might want to look after what's going on with your wife. She trying to do stuff to me. I know she didn't try it with other brothers. Just saying. These are the things that we have to look out for. Solomon's trial was written down for us to learn from. It was written down for us to learn from. That was the original KS. Now watch this. Go to Jeremiah chapter 20. Jeremiah chapter 20. We're going to start at verse 1. We're going to start at verse 1. This goes out to all of the brothers that are out teaching in the world. This goes out to all of the brothers that go out teaching in the world. Jeremiah chapter 20, verse 1. It said, Now Pashur, the son of Immer, the priest, who was also chief governor of the house of the Lord, heard that Jeremiah prophesied these things. Then Pashur smote Jeremiah the prophet and put him in stocks that were in the high gate of Benjamin, which was by the house of the Lord. So Jeremiah was teaching, and his own people put hands on him and threw him in jail. Message, guess what? Our people going to do that same thing. Our people going to do that same thing. Oftentimes we look at, the dudes that's in the projects and the people that's in the hood. We think that those going to be the ones that come against us. No. It said the priests smacked Jeremiah and threw him in jail, put him in the stocks. The priests did that. You don't think the priests nowadays going to do that to us too? Watch this. And it came to pass on the morrow that Pashur brought forth Jeremiah out of the stocks. Then said Jeremiah to him, The Lord hath not called thy name Pashur, but Magor Missabib. For thus saith the Lord, Behold, I will make thee a terror to thyself and to all thy friends, and they shall fall by the sword of their enemies, and thine eyes shall behold it, and I will give all Judah into the hand of the king of Babylon, and he shall carry them captive unto Babylon, and slay them with the sword. Moreover, I will deliver all the strength of this city, and all the labors thereof, and all the precious things thereof, and all the treasures of the kings of Judah will I give into the hand of their enemies, which shall spoil them and take them and carry them to Babylon. And thou, Pashur, and all that dwelt in thine house shall go into captivity. And thou shalt come to Babylon, and there thou shalt die, and shalt be buried there, thou and all thy friends, to whom thou hast prophesied lies. So Jeremiah straight rebuking. Word of the Lord coming out strong. Jeremiah straight up rebuking this guy for what he's doing, prophesying lies to the people. Ain't that what we do? Ain't that what we do? Don't we prophesy against all of these fake pastors and preachers and prophets and all of these so-called Christians that don't do a damn thing that the Lord said to do, but they all prophesy lies out of their own heart? We do this. We do this. Watch this. Verse 7. O Lord, thou hast deceived me, and I was deceived. Thou art stronger than I, and hast prevailed. I am in derision daily. Everyone mocketh me. For since I spake, I cried out. I cried violence and spoiled, because the word of the Lord was made a reproach unto me, and a derision daily. Then said I will not make mention of him, nor speak any more in his name. So Jeremiah wanted to quit. Jeremiah wanted to quit. Like, bruh, ever since I've been teaching, ever since I started teaching the word of the Lord, bad things been happening to me. Everybody looking at me like I'm crazy. I done got thrown in jail. People hate me. I'm in derision daily. Like, bro, what the hell going on? That's us. That's us. So a lot of people say, where the women at? I couldn't be. A man actually said, where's the women at? Because I can't be a part of such a male dominated organization. What? Are you serious? What the hell other organization has been successful being dominated by women? I'll wait. These guys, bruh, our people need work. Our people need work. Dude said I could not be a part of such a male-dominated organization. You better pull your skirt down. Pull your britches up. But Jeremiah said, he said, look, man, I was in derision daily. Everybody talking bad about me, and I wanted to stop. Jeremiah wanted to quit. Oftentimes, a lot of us want to do that too. We don't want to quit the truth. But sometimes, like, man, look, I don't even want to teach no more. People don't be listening. But watch this. Read verse 9 again. Then said I will not make mention of him, nor speak any more in his name. But his word was in my heart as a burning fire, shut up in my bones, and I was weary with forbearing, and I could not stay. Meaning, he couldn't watch all of the wickedness around him and keep quiet. It was worse trying to be quiet than it was being ridiculed for teaching. That's how we got to be. Jeremiah's trial was going through being ridiculed, being mocked, being put in derision every single day. But guess what? If Jeremiah would have stopped teaching, there wouldn't have been no book of Jeremiah. The rest of Jeremiah. The rest of Jeremiah from chapter 21 on back to what, 50? 52. Wouldn't have been none of that. Wouldn't have been no prophecies. Wouldn't have been no nothing for us thousands of years later to go back and look at and read and learn from. Wouldn't have been none of that stuff. Wouldn't have been none of that stuff. But he went through his trial because he wasn't in his trial by himself. Because Israel was going to need to hear this. Same thing with us. We ain't in our trial by ourselves. Our trial affects a lot of other people. Galatians 6:1. Gonna be my last scripture. Galatians 6:1. It says, brethren, if a man be overtaken in a fault, ye which are spiritual, restore such an one in the spirit of weakness, considering thyself, lest thou also be tempted. How are we going to restore somebody if we don't have the experience to go through that trial? Second point. If they're overtaken in a fault, that's their trial. We that are spiritual, we have to restore that person. Guess what? They're not in that trial by themselves. You're never in a trial by yourself. Your trial is not just yours. You're never there alone. You're never there alone. It's up to you whether or not you get the counsel that you need to get. It's up to you to follow the counsel that you need to get. A lot of us go through stuff and we keep it to ourselves. And then when stuff blows up, now you want everybody around you to repair this irreparable damage. Say it from the beginning. Let it be known now. Hey, look, I'm going through this. I don't know what's going to happen. I need help. Hey, call. Hey, how do you get over this? How you get over that? I'm going through this. Any scriptures on this? Any scriptures on that? Guess what? If your officer don't know, he'll reach up to a higher officer than him. And if that man don't know, he'll reach up to a captain. And if that captain don't know, they'll reach up to a deacon. And if the deacon don't know, then they'll reach up to a bishop. And then the bishop's a council. And then all that stuff will come right back down to you. How else is our leaders going to learn to be better if they don't have problems to solve? They may come across a situation. Damn. That's a unique situation. Let's go into scriptures and see how to deal with this. And now they done added another situation to their repertoire that they can speak of and that they can counsel people through. And they're only going to get better at counseling in that situation. Every situation is not cut and dry. Oh, if this happens, then you do this. Every situation is not like that. But if they learn to come together and solve your problem, which may be very unique, next time it comes up, they know exactly how to handle it. But if you keep it to yourself, guess what? Can't nobody help you. Can't nobody handle it. Your trial ain't just yours yourself. It said those that are spiritual restore such a one in the spirit of meekness. You can't show that spirit of meekness if you don't know about the trial. So your trial ain't by yourself. Your trial ain't just yours. You going through something for everybody to learn from, including yourself. Somebody else going to have to learn from it. Somebody else going to have to grow from it. Every marital trial, a few people grow from it. You, your spouse, and whoever gave you counsel. Everybody grows from all of these different trials. Everybody grows. So I pray that y'all got some sort of edification today. All right. Lord's will, catch another daily bread tomorrow. Remember, study, pray, apply. Learn. Y'all brothers and sisters, enjoy the people that y'all have. All right. Enjoy the people that y'all have with y'all. Don't hold grudges. All right. Don't hold grudges. Don't do evil things behind people's back. Just learn to apply the commandments. Be that wise and understanding nation that God called us to be. All right. Because guess what? Throughout the days that are to come, a lot of us may get taken out. And you don't want to be the one to be like, man, I should have did this with that brother. I should have did this with that sister. Do everything that you can now. Be that example now. Show that brotherly love and brotherly kindness now. All right. Let brotherly love continue. That's what the scriptures say. Because we never know when the next time we're going to find ourselves in a situation where we may lose a brother or sister. All right. So y'all keep the faith, study, pray, apply, and always remember we in this for life. All right. Shalom. Most High in Christ bless.